Many GCSE students feel like they're just bad at maths, that overall maths is just not their subject. But a lot of the time, this isn't the case, and it's just a few weak areas that are causing most of the problems. And if they fix those few weak areas, then they'll be absolutely fine in their exams. My name is Bradley, and I'm a maths tutor, and today I'm going to be talking about how to successfully find and fix weak areas in GCSE Maths. So, first of all, let's talk about why students misidentify weaknesses in maths. A lot of the time when students make mistakes or they see that they've got something wrong, they put a label on it. They say, okay, this was just a mistake, a careless mistake I've made because I don't know how to do it. They put that label on it and they give up on trying to improve on the question or improve on their performance because they say, okay, well, I don't know how to do this, I don't understand it, and they just give up. But the truth is, there are many different ways that you can get something wrong and many different reasons that you can get a question wrong. For example, sometimes the issue is that you haven't recognized what the question is asking you to do. You haven't recognized what it's asking for, or you haven't properly identified the type of question it is. Sometimes you haven't seen the setup of the question properly. You haven't seen the type of question it is, what it's asking you for, as in the format of the question that it wants, whether it's asking you to explain, whether it's asking you to show something, whether it's asking you to prove something. Sometimes it's just a control thing. Sometimes you haven't quite done the right calculations. You've gone wrong in a method somewhere, and that's why you got the answer wrong. Knowing which one of those types of errors are losing you marks can really help you on your way to be able to get more marks in the future, because you can fix those mistakes and then go on with your GCSE Maths. So how do you spot patterns in the mistakes that you're making? Well, to spot patterns in your GCSE Maths, it's important to know the three types of mistakes, the main three types of mistakes that you could make in your GCSE Maths. So we'll talk about the three types of mistakes. The first type of mistake is standard procedure mistakes. So we've talked about how to what type of mistakes that you may make in your GCSE Maths, recognizing the question, the setup, and the control aspect of the question. So how can we spot patterns or recognize patterns in the mistakes that we make? Well, to do that, it's important to talk about the three main types of questions that you'll get in GCSE Maths. In GCSE Maths, all of the questions can be whittled down roughly into three types of questions. So the first type of question in GCSE Maths you'll get is standard procedure questions. So these are some things like basic calculations. It might ask you what is 1/2 plus 2/5, and you have to answer that. Or it'll be something like, what is 3a plus 5a? And then you have to answer that. It'll be something like that. A standard procedure question is just a simple calculation. A reasoning question may be a question that asks you to explain something, like explain why this is the case, prove that so-and-so is wrong, show by your working that this is true. That is a reasoning question, and that will usually involve writing sentences and things like that. That's the second type of question. The third type of question is problem-solving questions. Now, these are normally multi-step questions. We require multiple steps of calculation so that you can get to the final answer. Knowing which type of these questions that you fail at the most will tell you a lot about your weak areas, what mistakes you're making and why you make them. And once you know those, then you can easily find your way to success by fixing the weak areas that you have. Another key thing to fixing weak areas is to fix the topics properly. Some people, when they're finding their weak areas, they look at topics like, oh, I'm bad at algebra and I'm bad at the area of 3D shapes. It's like, okay. So they try and fix those by memorizing equations, memorizing methods, but that isn't the thing to do. Why not? Well, when you're memorizing things and memorizing methods, memorizing equations, you're not actually understanding the question. And when you don't understand the question, but you've memorized the method, then that is a dangerous game to play, because you might get a question in the exam that's similar, but a little bit different. And if you don't understand it, then you're not going to get it right. And so it's so important that you fix topics on a deeper level. You understand why A equals B and then A and B equals C. You need to understand the logic behind it so that you can do questions similar to that question and you can get those marks in the exam. Knowledge equals confidence. And once you've looked at your weak areas and made steps to fix them by recognizing the types of mistakes you may make, the recognition error, the setup error, or the control error, recognizing the types of questions that you may face, standard procedure, reasoning questions, and problem-solving questions, and by solving the topics that you are weak at on a deeper level, your confidence will boost. You'll do well in your exams because you have greater confidence and you have less weak points. Your maths will be very strong and you will give yourself the best chances of getting the grades that you want. If you want a little bit more guidance on how to fix your weak areas in GCSE Maths, then feel free to look at my website. I make blog posts that help a lot of people with their GCSE Maths and their maths journey so that they can improve their grades. I also have a lot of different resources, like I have a topic list on my website that's available that you can use to revise for your GCSEs, key topics that you should know for your GCSE exams, whether you're doing foundation or whether you're doing higher. I also have a course on my website as well, which is called How to Gain 10% in Your Next Test. That course, it's about 1 hour, and it will help you to know exactly how you can gain more marks in your next test and get way closer to the grades that you want. So if you want any of those, the links will all be down in the description. I hope you've enjoyed this video and got value from it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.